All right, so let's look at how I flipped the sample from the Kenny Beats beat battle a few days ago. So first, here's the sample. Then I took the sample, I pitched it down and cut some of the mids. Then I isolated a specific part of the sample. In samples that are very long, it can be easy to not know where to pick or how much to pick. I like to just simplify it to one main element and then add supporting elements around it. So here I then added RC20, cut some mids, a Valhalla vintage verb, and this is what it sounds like. I then cut a specific part of the sample and I turned on beat warping in order to make the transients choppier and to make it more of a lead. I then pitched up a certain section and chopped it in order to make some layers. In order to build a riser, I took a certain portion of the sample, I added some reverb, cut some mids, and added an EQ, and this is what it sounds like. And this is what it sounds like altogether. So the drums for this one, I wanted to go a little different. Normally it's more like 4 on the floor, but I wanted to go in a different BPM range that I normally do. So this is around 140, and this is what the drums sound like. So initially, to start the drums off, you know I like to start with a little sample to get some inspiration. So here I just chopped it up and chose some specific parts I like, and this is what it sounds like. And so as a secondary percussion element, I took another drum break. So here I just made the transient stand out by using beat warping on Ableton. So here I have a third drum break to use as a fill. And you get the idea. So here I did program some drums using 2 hi-hats, and of course they're pretty delayed, and that's all just depending on your feel. You know, you got to play around with it and see what fits. So here I used a separate clap and a snare. I didn't do much on it except for make it a little choppier. So the kick is completely untouched. It's just a simple kick. I made sure to keep the rhythm a little interesting by adding some accents here and there. And as you can see, when I do a double kick, the second kick is actually before the beat. And so this is what it sounds like altogether. And finally, I added some elements in order to create some variety. And so this is what our sample and our drums sound like together. In order to make an interesting and unique bass sound, I wanted to resample an 808 and give it a growl sound in order to fit the darker tone of this track so far. And so let's listen to what we have. This kind of takes a dubstep acid bass, you know, some house inspiration. And so here, this is actually a Kenny 808 from one of his episodes at the Cave. I got this on Reddit drum kits. So here I have an effects track with a few instances of guitar rig. I use the auto filter on guitar rig. I also mix that in parallel with the original sound, as well as I have a stereo widener on it. And so this is what it sounds like. So for top layer of the bass, I added RC20 with the Bass Wonder preset to give it some more crunch, as well as EQ'd out the low end, so it's just the top end, and this is what it sounds like. And this is what it sounds like altogether. And finally, I have a Teclun 808 that I did pretty much the same thing as just a one-shot bass to keep some variety. So for the break, I resampled the section that I took in simpler and shortened it and pitched it down. And it gave a Jaws feel, so I decided to play on that and kind of use the high sample as some suspenseful music. So this sample was originally from a horror film, apparently, and so I wanted to play off of. And so I used a Valhalla vintage verb to give the whole break a background type of feeling. This is what it sounds like altogether. I also added some Foley in the background to give it some atmosphere. And to just play off the skit, I added a vocal sample from Jaws. Shark! The shark! And so this is what it sounds like altogether. And so just before the second chorus, I wanted to keep some variety going. So I exported the beat, I took it, slowed it down, and pitched it down. And that was it. I hope you guys enjoy this and let me know what you think. It's a little different than what I normally make, but I had a lot of fun making it. So I'll see you guys next time.